Welcome to the Last Take podcast. We got a busy schedule here. We're going to cover a lot of different stuff. We got Fortnite, NBA, college basketball, a lot to cover. Olympics are on. Everybody loves Olympics. But we're going to start with Fortnite. My phone is blowing up. Fortnite, their Twitter just released some insider news, some new stuff that's going to be coming out in the near future. So, everybody's talking about that. And I think we should just start with that. But actually, first, we're going to start with Fortnite, but a different side topic. Fortnite, over the past weekend, broke the concurrent player record. PUBG held it. Fortnite the past, I think, Sunday. There was 3.4 million players playing at the same time, uh, constantly, and that's way above Fortnite daily averages millions of players, and pro players from Counter Strike, League of Legends. PUBG players have come over along with H1Z1. Those two games are struggling right now a little bit, especially H1Z1. But Call of Duty players, they're all saying Fortnite's the best game out there right now, top five game overall, and it is. And some people say a lot of people are playing it because it's free. That's part of it, maybe, but Fortnite's also making a nice chunk of money with their, I think it's called V-Bucks. I was gonna say VC. I was thinking 2K for some reason, but their V-Bucks, which I think might be the biggest scam I've ever seen. You pay like 15 to 20 bucks for just one player skin, but people are buying it, and that's how they're making their money instead of selling the game. I don't know if they plan on, because technically it's still in beta mode. So I don't know if once that's over, if they're just gonna keep it as free or what. I'm not too sure. But yeah, they break that record, 3.4. It was recently held by PUBG. Now Fortnite has it. Uh, Comparison, uh, you know, they get millions of players every night. I'm on there a couple times a week playing with some squads and stuff, some doubles. Uh, and I had this conversation with people before. Uh, this kid, big Rocket League. I think I had a little Twitter argument maybe a couple weeks back with him. He's just big Rocket League guy. He's that kind of guy. Rocket League's the best. No game's better, and all that stuff. Rocket League on a daily average, at most, a few 100,000 playing. That's lucky. Um, Fortnite gets millions. Uh, Fortnite is doing a better job than PUBG. PUBG's struggling a little bit, especially on consoles because of I guess there's lag, really bad lag and stuff. I think Fortnite did a good job because uh, their game's just kind of simple. You have the different level of guns like you do in PUBG and stuff like that. You got a green shotgun, a blue shotgun, a pump. The SCAR, regular AR, the burst, and all that. But it's pretty simple. You just basically pick up the gun. You figure out the color, which color is better, pretty easily. Just play like 10 games and you figure it out. Uh, and where PUBG, you have to like scroll through, figure out, oh, there's a level 3 backpack, level 2 backpack, and helmets and all that stuff. I think Fortnite just kept it pretty simple, and I think that's one reason they're doing it very well. As long and they're updating the game. I think what do they up? It seems like they update every day, but maybe every week they're updating and making sure the game's running smoothly and stuff like that. Um, Staying on with Fortnite, Ninja is probably the top streamer and possibly the top player. I think he just hit 35K ninjas or subs on Twitch. Um, Ninja. If you have not seen this, go to I believe twitch.tv/Ninja. Amazing player. He plays PC. If you're a console kind of guy, you want to watch a console guy, check out Nick Merckx. He's playing a ton of tournaments lately, and on console, and he might be the best console player. And he's a very he looks kind of intimidating, looks kind of like a scary guy, but he's a really nice guy, and definitely check him out if you get a chance. Both players are very good at the game, and I think you should just watch them. I watched them, and I feel like I got better at the game just watching them, see what they do, you know, what they do differently than what I do, and I take tips from them and stuff like that. So Fortnite, do an amazing job. But I think it was like an hour ago. The Fortnite Twitter came out and said for their battle royale, this is new stuff is coming. 50v50, which was a popular game mode. I know one guy that I played with loved that game mode. It's the only game mode he ever wanted to play. Was 50v50. They're going to bring that back at some point, and I think they said this time they're going to have two buses. So the 50 players on one team will drop from one bus, and the 50 players from another team will drop off from one bus. I'm guessing they're going to be going in different directions, maybe cross over at some point. That would be cool if you drop out with your glider or umbrella. You could just kick people off, and they just fall dead just like that. But I don't know exactly how they're going to make that work. But I'm sure the two buses are going to be different directions. I'm sure Tilted's still going to be the primary spot to land. Blitz game mode, they announced, will be coming. There was a sneak peek. I got it maybe a month ago that this game mode was coming out because one of my challenges was to play Blitz game mode, but you couldn't play it. But basically, I guess Blitz game mode is just gonna be a shorter game. The starting circle, the time between circles are gonna be shorter. So I guess you're probably gonna want to land at tilted, so you don't have to run too far, and you're able to loot. And then the last new thing that is a very popular request, especially on consoles, is the custom game modes. Tournaments are starting to roll out now on UMG, CMG, Ultra Arena, and there's other websites out there. They're starting to do tournaments, but it's based off it's 2v2 tournaments based on kills. Whatever team gets more kills, basically. But I guess custom games is in the works and is going to be coming soon. All right, next on our podcast, we'll talk about a little NBA, I guess. What I got here is over, what was it, Friday or something like that? I can't remember exactly what day, but basically a couple days ago, Ben Simmons was mad that he did not get to go to the All-Star game. He wasn't even close to making it, and then some injuries to Love, Wall, the Unicorn, and others. Ben Simmons thought he could potentially make the All-Star game. I guess his stats aren't bad. He's averaging 16.5 points per game, 7.3 assists per game, and 7 rebounds per game, almost 8, I think. So they're not bad numbers, especially for a rookie, if you want to call him that. I don't think he should be considered a rookie because he got drafted 2 years ago and sat out a year. If you get injured and sit out a year, I don't think. I mean, that's still your year. But he thinks he should have made it over Walker and some other players. And the thing is, those are all right numbers, but are you really an all-star? You have slightly above average numbers. You're no James. James is averaging what, high 20s, along with those probably 8 assists and 9 rebounds per game. That's way better numbers. That's James probably averages 10 more points per game. Plus, he does so much more. You have to pick James up or Walker. Walker was the last spot in due to injury. You got to pick Walker up at half court. You don't have to do that with Simmons. You can literally stand at the free throw line, and because all Simmons can do is drive and score. That's all he can do. No, Simmons, work on your shot. Uh, I mean, Joel Embiid, who is the All-Star and he deserves it, uh, shoots better three-pointers and free throws and everything, basically, than you. So work on your shot, get that three-point shot, because without it, I don't think you're gonna be considered All-Star, at least in this time, because the NBA is all about shooting now. Staying with the NBA, you got the Cavs last was it Thursday? The trade deadline was. Uh, they basically got rid of their whole team. If you think about it, they acquired Hill, Hood, Clarkson, and Nance Jr. from Lakers, Kings, and Utah, and they played their first game yesterday, Sunday, and versus the favorite to win the East, or at least they were until after this game, the Celtics. And the Cavs beat them pretty easily by, I believe, 22 points. Uh, all four of those new additions looked good. James was feeling it. You saw him on the bench. You saw him out there, talking to them, laughing with them, playing around with them. James loved it. And now the big discussion is the Cavs the best team in the East? Are they going to make it to the finals? Are they going to make it out of the East? And I think they are. Like James, I don't know. It's like a light switch. Once James gets to the playoffs, especially in those later rounds, he plays way better. Uh, he averaged triple double through the finals last year, and so unfortunately, he couldn't win for his team, averaging those numbers. Kyrie left, and they tried bringing Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas injured with his hip for half the year. He comes back, and the Cavs just struggle ever since he comes back. He was hostile in the locker room. He says he wasn't the problem, even though the Cavs' defensive numbers were better when Thomas was on the bench. Uh, so IT definitely was part of the problem. There could have been other people. Crowder wasn't playing up to his standards. They got rid of him. Crowder and IT probably had ties. So I don't know if James decided that or who decided. I'm sure James had some say of who to get rid of and who to keep. Wade's gone now. Wade's back with the Heat. He's happy. James, from what I heard, James talked to Wade beforehand and said, "Would you like to be traded back to the Heat? Otherwise, you might not get any playing time or that much playing time." Wade went back. He's loved down in Miami. I believe he loves it down there. It's nice and warm, at least, other than Cleveland or up Wisconsin, Chicago area. Uh, but they were looking good. I caught some glimpses of that game. I was traveling during that game. Towards the end is when I got back, but they looked pretty good. So I think the Cavs are the new favorite in the East. Next on my list was March Madness, but with the Olympics going on, everybody's a big fan of Olympics. Unfortunately, for some reason, Summer Olympics I like. Winter Olympics just doesn't. I don't know. I'm not a big skier, snowboarder, all that snow stuff. I don't mind the snow, but just like a sport or not a winter sports kind of snow sports kind of. I'm not that kind of guy, but U.S. has 4 medals. Norway has the most medals. Germany has the most gold medals with 4. Norway has 9 total medals. Germany, Netherlands, and Canada all have 7, and U.S. with 4. But yeah, I'm not a big Winter Olympic guy. Like I said, I don't ski and stuff. I have friends that ski. They ask me to go. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm more of a when it's winter, even in summer and stuff. I'm more of a basketball kind of guy. And if I'm not doing that, if I don't want to go, maybe it's too cold or something. I'm watching sports, or if there's nothing on, I'll play some Fortnite or 2K or something else. But let's get into March Madness. Uh, Number one seeds were announced a month early what they projected at this point if it would start now or whatever. Um, Nova, Virginia, Xavier, Purdue were the 1 seeds. Last Take did their own kind of series what they think. I'm gonna bring it up on my phone right here. If you go to their Twitter, they have it real Last Take on Twitter and Instagram. But let me see what. So their 1 seeds were Virginia, Nova, Purdue, Xavier. So the same. 2 seeds were Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, and Auburn. And I think Clemson, or maybe Cincy was a 2 seed. I can't remember. In March Madness or the NCAA's the little poll thing. 3 seeds for last pick were North Carolina, and I don't think North Carolina was even a 3 seed. They might have been a 4 seed. Cincy, Clemson, and Ohio State they put in there, and so my fave 1 seed would probably be, I think Nova is the best team, followed by Virginia. I think my number 2 seed, Purdue is a pretty good 1 seed too. They got a tall team. My favorite 2 seed would probably be either Duke or Michigan State. If you go by whatever they had, not last take, Michigan State would be my fave 3 seed, I think. But according to last take, mine would probably be Duke. Michigan State's definitely a really good team. I think they deserve to be a 2 seed. I would choose Duke over Duke. I think Coach K has found it. You got to give the ball to Grayson Allen. They sat Duval, and he came off the bench. I think that was a smart move. But Grayson Allen's a good passer, good scorer. Get him the ball, from baseline to baseline. My favorite 3 seed would be UNC, according to last take. North Carolina is playing in a tough conference that has Duke, Virginia, Clemson, all very good teams, basically top to the bottom. UNC beat Duke, and they're trying to find their way through the ACC. They'll definitely make the tournament and all that. And I think they deserve a 3 seed at this point, and I think they will get that 3 seed. But, Ohio State, I see last take put it as a 3 seed, and I don't know if they were a 4 seed maybe. But Ohio State's having a good year. They beat Purdue. And the thing about the Big Ten, they're not as strong, I don't think. You got Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, and Ohio State, basically. Michigan State's a little iffy there. But after that, you usually have Wisconsin the top 3. Wisconsin is terrible right now. So, but SEC, ACC look strong, and I think the winner will maybe come out of one of those. Nova's also a favorite. Just looking at these top 3 seeds, but that's basically it for March Madness. I gave you my favorites. My favorite overall, I'm a Duke kind of guy. Duke's my second favorite team. Badgers are my first. If I couldn't choose Duke, which Duke is struggling a little bit, I would have to say you have to look at Nova or Virginia. All right, quick takes is the next thing and the final thing, and there's 3 quick takes they gave me. The first one, so quick takes I think are supposed to be basically one-liners and all, right? I don't know, but NBA MVP, mine is Harden. James is doing a great job, but I think Harden is definitely the MVP favorite for now. James second. Russell Westbrook is having a great year. I think averaging almost a triple double, but it's like a quiet year for him for some reason. I don't know what. Probably with Paul George and Mel there, they're taking some of the attention off Westbrook. Next take, college basketball best player. A lot of people would say Trae Young. I would not. I would say Bagley. I think Bagley is the better player. He definitely would be drafted before Trae Young. Trae Young has struggled against top teams, so Bagley just averages double doubles every game. Doesn't matter if you're top team or not. 30 point, 15 rebound games, best player. First number 1 seed to lose, I would say Xavier. I honestly don't feel like Xavier should be a number 1 seed. They just Their best win, I think, is against Creighton, maybe Seton Hall, and they're not. Those teams aren't ranked. They played one top team in Villanova and lost by almost 20 or more than 20. I can't remember. Um, so against teams that top teams, they just don't perform, and they will run into a problem in the tournament, I think. But those are my quick takes, and this has been the Last Take podcast. Nice short. Uh, like 20-minute. I think that's what they want is shorter, 20 to 30 minutes. You don't need the hour long. Who's going to listen to that? I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next podcast.